All right. We are here. We have a match, Farm League match. I don't know which group this is, but I assume probably, or I can just check. Probably U or V or something. Yeah, probably group U. That being said, I'm not sure if I've casted either of their matches before in the past. But let's find out what these players are all about. Top right spawn is our blue orc player Blackprisme E. And it looks like he's going to go Blade Master. I do think Blade Master is a more difficult hero to play than something like Farseer. But there are some advantages to Blade Master as well, which is opponents also probably find Blade Master more difficult to play against, since he can do some crazy things. He can steal a lot of creeps, etc. We'll see what sort of style he has, whether he creeps a bunch or if he harasses right away. Undead scouting already. He did go a ghoul build and opening with a Dreadlord. Okay, not something you see all too often, but there are definitely a handful of players that stick with the Dreadlord play in many matchups, including versus Orc. Obviously, Dreadlord is one of those types of heroes where you need a good early game. If you don't have a good early game, you can easily get overrun with this hero and just have trouble really coming back into the game. Looks like our Orc player is going to go for the creep at the start and did snipe the Acolyte as well. You can see the 25 XP there. Trying to switch aggro to the Grunt so that both the hero and the Grunt take a bit of damage. He's probably planning to salve the Grunt after, and then maybe even do one more creep and salve the Blade after that creep. We'll see what he decides to do. Undead bringing all the ghouls and is going to tech right away. So not going to be any sort of fast expo or all in or anything like that with the Dreadlord. It is going to just be a more, how to put it, normal with a normal tech route, but I'm not sure if a normal tech route is that common with Dreadlord. We'll see how it goes for Rico here. There's definitely some benefits to it in that oftentimes your opponent, if they spot the Dreadlord, will probably be expecting an expo. But if you're not expoing, I mean, maybe you just throw them off and yeah. Ooh, could see a Grunt pickup here. Oh, but he already used the sleep on the creep. Oof. Okay. Oh, but we do have another sleep. Trying to go for the surround, but it is kind of counter blocked with the blade. But the Grunt not really escaping. Blackprisme is going to lose that one Grunt. Does do a bit of damage. Might be able to get one ghoul in return. Not any way to really save that unless he wants to use the other sleep. But I think it's fine to let one ghoul die, especially in return for the Grunt kill, and keeping that mana. Dreadlord is a hero where once you exhaust your mana, it does get kind of difficult to get that mana back up for a while. So you have access to mana potions, and we are going to have a bit of engagement again, and going to go for another surround. Huge pickup to pick off this first Headhunter. Headhunters are the type of unit where they're not too strong individually, but once you get that mass of them, they do get crazy strong. So keeping that mass low is a huge thing to do. Ooh, gauntlets. Gets killed by Blackprisme, and we are going to see us around. Oh, oof. It looked like he switched his mind and wanted to go for the Headhunter, but ends up letting go of this round. That being said, Blackprisme did use the Windwalk anyways, so I think that was kind of the goal there by Rico, is to get him to use the mana. And once this Blade Master is out of mana as well, these surrounds are deadly for him too. Or he will have to use the TP, and we're getting a ton of surrounds. Rico doing a good job getting lots of pickoffs here. He is losing a couple ghouls in return. Might lose one more. But the blade... Oh, the blade last hit just before the Windwalk fully goes off. Windwalk does have a small bit of fade time where your opponent can still see you when it's first activated, and Rico capitalizes on that, gets the kill, and this Dreadlord doing work so far, almost level 3. Now, Blackprisme is throwing up a single tower for defense and spiked barricades.
Forces are under attack.
These are honestly both going to be pretty good. It's going to be very difficult for the Dreadlord player to push into a tower and spiked barricades for a long time. Unless he goes into something like Necro Wagons, let's say. But Necro Wagons are a bit more difficult on one base. Not to mention, his wood count is a little low right now. Most of the ghouls he's brought with him to fight, to creep. And so it's going to be a while before he can add in something like Slaughter and Temple, especially if he's going to tier 3 right away. Looks like maybe the goal is just to get those Frenzy Ghouls. Going to go for a surround here, but Blackprisme isn't too weak anymore. He could start fighting once this blade gets out here. It is a little scary against the Vampire Dreadlord, because it can be somewhat hard to kill these off. But with 2 grunts and the blade and mirror image, Blackprisme does have quite a bit of damage. And it looks like Rico just going for the cancel on the totem, but losing some ghouls in return. Can Blackprisme get this one last ghoul? It looks like it will be safe. I think for Blackprisme here, the goal is probably just to get his unit count up again. Will he go tier 3 and try to get Berserkers, or is he going to try to add that totem again? He's going to have trouble if there's any sort of casters to deal with, for sure. But if it's just an army of ghouls, these grunts and or headhunters are going to be actually quite good. At least until Frenzy comes into play. Frenzy can definitely be quite scary. Ooh, we are going to see a pick off of one ghoul though. But in return, Rico might be losing his Death Knight. Can Blackprisme get it? He does, and this is the trouble. These grunts and this Blade Master are starting to actually deal a quite significant chunk of damage, especially with the Brute Strength upgrade. And DK falls, ghouls are starting to fall. Some grunts are falling too, but I think Blackprisme's okay with that, because if the ghouls aren't getting into a real mass, they're much easier to deal with. That being said, it is a lot of units falling for Blackprisme. You would like to see some of these saved if possible. Ooh, we do see a deny on that one, and Shadowhunter is here. He does have Hex, could go for a ghoul kill with Hex. But does he want to chase it down here? Looks like he's just poking it for now, but going to let them get into the base. Rico, unit count quite low, but he does have tier 3. Does he sell any items to try to get orb? And what do we got? Statues, Ghoul Frenzy. So he's going to have quite a strong ground army. But he does need to get Unholy Frenzy, maybe level 4 Dreadlord for that level 2 Vamp as well. Orb would be nice. A third hero would be nice. A lot of things still to come into play for Rico here. On the other side, Blackprisme just trying to creep. If he can get something like level 4 Blade, level 3 Shadow, that would help a lot here. See the Shadow just trying to creep for now. And switching it up, not going Totem and instead going to go Bestiary. Bestiary definitely the safer play against Undead especially, because you oftentimes do want things like Raiders, Bats, even Wyvern can do good. Headhunters as well if you're not having things like Wyvern Raiders bats. Because if the Undead ever gets air like destroyers, you need some sort of anti-air, of course. Otherwise, things like the grunts are just gonna fall a little quickly. Looks like Blackprisme wants to scout out where Rico is, see if there's an expansion coming, but there is not. He could even creep this, you know, maybe mirror image and creep the blue ogre, but I don't know if it's worth or what he wants. Meanwhile, Shadowhunter also creeping. Nice little hex on the Magi. We'll have to use salves after this camp, but it'll be a good chunk of XP for the Shadow. Meanwhile, Rico, our Undead player, does reach the crucial level 4 and level 2. So Vamp Aura is upgraded and Unholy Aura is unlocked. Ooh, and Blackprisme getting caught out here, hasn't healed up yet. But he does have a lot of grunts. The main thing is he needs his blade to reach here, and the blade is lagging a little bit behind. He can actually fight here though, there's not that many ghouls. They do have Frenzy. The hero levels are scary, but the blade is almost here. Wait, where'd the blade go? Oh, the blade brought a Zeppelin. Okay, a little fancy play here. It can definitely be good if you can get it here in time. Saving grunts in the Zeppelin will be huge. There's no anti-air for Rico, but he needs to drop the blade and have it attacking. Blade is on the field. Grunt doesn't get picked up in time. Needs to be a little careful with the Shadowhunter now. Does have the one heal wave, but the Zeppelin was forgotten about. Oh no, Shadowhunter getting blocked. Can the Zeppelin come into play? Or is the Shadow just gonna fall? Ooh, TP is passed. Does get the TP off. Ghouls are falling. And overall, not too bad, but the grunts were left behind. Blackprisme, you need to save these. Does he hear the notification? Oh yeah, the Zeppelin coming in. Does save one grunt, but one will fall. And now he just needs to salve back up. And we do have tier 3, so he could go into Berserkers if he wants, or Envenomed Spears. These Wyvern are actually going to be huge here because Rico is going full ground army. And his only anti-air is like sleeping the Wyvern so they don't attack, or coiling them, which doesn't actually kill by itself. There's no orb. No carry-on swarm, no novas, no destroyers, I believe. So Rico will have to do something to deal with them. That being said, there are cases where this sort of ghoul army can just overrun the ground army quick enough that the air doesn't matter enough, if that makes sense. But I think it's going to be hard when it's like a level 4 blade with mirror image, Shadowhunter nearing level 3 with heal wave, a Zeppelin to even pick some of these units up. We'll see what Rico can do, but he might find himself having to TP out once he realizes he has some Wind Riders to deal with. Disease Cloud on the way. Rico going to be quite strong here for the fight, but like I said, I don't know if it's really enough to deal with the air that's here. Ooh, tiny Great Hall. And looks like he's trying to transfer the peons as well. Going to lose the shop. Losing the shop is huge. Blackprisme would definitely like to have that, but the Wyvern are out. They do have Envenomed Spears. Envenomed Spear is going to be incredibly difficult to deal with. And yeah, Speed Scroll used, wants to chase some units down. And the statue might go down. That would definitely be a huge pickup. Can we get a purge on this Blade Master orb? Blade Master will be slept and left behind. One Wyvern also straying behind. Blackprisme trying to get some kills here. Can he chase down this last statue? Looks like it will get away. But Blackprisme doesn't. Oh, we do have a destroyer farm actually. Okay, so he did get destroyer farm, but he's going to need a lot of destroyers to deal with the Wyvern, I believe. And with an Expo here, yeah, we're gonna have just mass piercing with 1 damage upgrade. This can be quite strong for Blackprisme, especially with the Expo starting to run. But Rico does have good hero levels, and they can definitely influence a fight. Because with the level 3 DK and this level 4.5 Dreadlord, can do quite a lot. Hood of Cunning not too great here, but yeah. Shadow Hunter, Illusion, going to spot him out. Now Blackprisme realizes he probably needs to go over to his Expo. We do have 4/3 heroes on this side as well. Claws of Attack. This actually has Claws 8 on the Shadow as well. Could pass that over to the Blade at some point. Oh, Rico not actually checking the Expo, going to the center instead, so both players might be meeting up in the center. We have a little shopping spree going on. And Blackprisme is starting to get rich now. Going to buy Wand of the Wind. Expensive purchase, but can be quite a bit of value here. If you get the undead heroes in the sky, like the Death Knight, you can pick stuff off without any coils coming in, such as these fiends. Picking off the fiends will be huge, because web is going to be a real problem for sure. The ghouls are going to mow down the ground really quick, so you need to get rid of the web so the ghouls can never even touch the air, if possible. Ooh. We got a 4th production building. Oh no, TC is stuck. And the peon is rallied to the TC. It's not rallied onto the tree. Where's that Zeppelin? The Zeppelin's here. The Zeppelin could pick him up. But he's gonna chop the tree instead. Kodo chilling. Rico still with no orb on the undead side. I would like to see it on even just the Dreadlord, but you could also get a Lich 3rd and add it there. Yeah, Rico is honestly quite strong for this fight. I think both sides are quite strong, so it could go either way. And Blackprisme starting another creep here. If Rico ends up finishing his buying and heads into the Expo, he could get caught out a little bit. 1 Headhunter left behind. Not much wood for Blackprisme either, because most of the peons were transferred. Ooh, and it's going to be actually a direct fight at the creep camp. Is Blackprisme ready to fight? He just needs to get those illusions up front. Maybe a stomp if he has stomp. It looks like the TC is not skilled yet. Ooh, and look at all this damage from the ghouls. And the Blade Master's taking a lot. Does he have the heal wave? Ooh, wasn't keeping track of the Blade Master, and he just falls at the start of the fight. The ghouls do so much damage on the ground, and the air mass was not enough, especially when there was a few fiends with web now, and it looks like our orc player Blackprisme is going over, getting overwhelmed here. Rico takes game 1. Close game overall though. I think Blackprisme, if he had managed to get his army under control there, like the TC out a little bit quicker, and honestly just had better position in the fight, with like Mirror Image Blade out front, maybe Stomp TC, and focus down either some of the ghouls or fiends right away, maybe that fight could have turned a little differently. But yeah, Rico's ghoul front line was really strong there. Game 2 is going to be on a last refuge. Bottom left spawn is going to be our blue orc player, Blackprisme E. And he is the one who needs to turn this around. Had the loss in the first game. Will he stick with the Blade Master? It did do decently well from the early to mid game, but maybe at the end of the game. Honestly, I wonder if even higher level mirror image would have been better in that last game. Just have that like mirror image front line that the opponent can't break through right away. could be quite good because there wasn't a lot of destroyers, and he also had a lot of piercing to deal with destroyers, so could be an option. We'll see if he goes blade again. But on the other side, top right, our yellow undead player Rico, winning the first game with Dreadlord. Is he going to go Dreadlord once again, or is he going to mix it up with something like a Death Knight or a Crypt Lord? It is going to be Death Knight. Death Knight ghouls. So same opener, but Death Knight instead of Dreadlord. And I'm curious to see how he decides to play it this time. Will he make less ghouls and go more into fiends right away? Will he go fast tech into lots of destroyers? Definitely some options here. Try hero as well is of course an option. He did stick with dual hero last game when no orb, but maybe we'll see the try hero with orb this time. And Blackprisme going to go with the Farseer here, so is going to switch it up as well. Farseer, I'm actually not sure if Farseer is better against DK or better against Dreadlord. Against Dreadlord it's kind of risky because Farseer can die quite quickly if you ever get caught in a surround, but you have wolves and chain lightning against the massive ghouls, so it can go both ways. Yeah, it is going to be against Death Knight this time, and looks like he's going to do a bit of harass. Has some nice focus fire on the Death Knight potential here. Death Knight without Unholy Aura is going to have trouble. His goal here is probably going to be to shake off this Farseer and get level 2 elsewhere. Ooh, but we see an ensnare on the Grunt. Not going to go for this round on it, going for the Wolf instead, and might lose one ghoul. Wolves being resummoned. Focus fire on the Death Knight, and the Farseer gets surrounded as well. I think he can get out if he moves the Grunt. Ooh, but they're just gonna fight it out. Blackprisme loses the Farseer, and that's going to hurt a lot. I think it would have been better to try to break out by moving the Grunt and the Farseer, but even TPing out was probably worth it because he does have a shop, and he could always come back and try to harass the Death Knight while the Death Knight tries to reach level 2. Oh, it's stealing a little bit of creeps, but it's not going to accomplish a whole lot here because he doesn't actually have a hero benefiting from this, and the Grunt might get caught out as well. I think he just wanted to use up his wolves somewhere, but yeah, this Grunt. This Grunt! Oh no. Blackprisme going to lose a Grunt here now too. Bit of a shaky start for him for sure. Could see one more coil coming in. No, the Grunt's going to get denied by the creeps. Farseer coming back in. Definitely much more favorable for Rico this game. But Blackprisme is coming back to harass a bit, trying to poke the Death Knight, but honestly, once the Death Knight reaches 2, if it stays on Blight as well, like this regen rate is really good. So it's hard to actually kill him at this point. Doing damage before they reach level 2 is generally the goal, but now that it is level 2, Death Knight should be fairly safe. Do have tier 2 about finished though, and Headhunters. Okay. Will it be a quick tier 3 tech? It is going to be a quick tier 3 tech. No wood available, but maybe once he gets a bit more wood, he'll add in something like the Shadow Hunter or the TC. Either one could be good. Going to grab the item here, but the Headhunter probably going to get caught out. Farseer as well should be able to slip away, but Headhunter will surely fall. Does get denied. Blackprisme does get some good denies, but honestly just losing too many units. The Headhunter's coming in one by one, and each of them getting surrounded. Blackprisme not really able to get his massive units up, and these Headhunters in low unit counts are just not going to be enough. A little bit of focus fire on the Death Knight, but the Farseer is surrounded, going to have to TP out, or he will fall once again. Both sides going to TP out. Well, about as good as he could get for a bad situation, but definitely a very bad situation overall for Blackprisme. We'll see what he decides to go into. It's going to be Bestiary. But when you're falling behind like this, it's going to be hard to do a whole lot with Raiders Headhunters. See what he manages. Ooh, Graveyard is quite late. And Sack Pit added. Interesting to see Sack Pit, because there is not actually a blade on the field, but maybe he just wants to keep track of his opponent. Sack Pit not actually required for things like worms anymore, either. It used to be, of course, but more and more of those restrictions were removed so that people would more often use things like worms and chimeras and stuff like that.
A player's forces are under attack.
Ooh, tier 3 almost done, but Blackprisme's actually going to have trouble with food count. He needs to get more burrows or potentially even Tiny Great Hall right when he reaches tier 3. Ooh, one Headhunter is going to fall. Yeah, once a unit gets slowed like that, it draws the aggro because the creeps will target basically the slowest unit generally, and so when they're slowed, they become the slowest unit. So that one Headhunter does fall. Blackprisme will finish up the creep. And this XP is going to be huge for him. He does need to get a lot of XP if he wants to be able to contest the Undead, because the Undead is already got the Lich on the field. Sack Pit is removed after one Shade, and tier 3 on the way. So the Orc hitting tier 3 much quicker than the Undead. But without level 3 Farseer, it is a little difficult to deal with this army. You do need those either level 2 Wolves or level 2 Chain, either one. Rico stealing a camp here. Ooh, Nova was used. So only one Nova here for the fight if they engage each other, and Blackprisme will be able to clean up the camp, I believe. Could even potentially go for this ghoul that got ensnared. Does he see it? Looks like he's just going to finish up the camp. We got a totem being added, maybe wanting to mix in Tauren, Raider, Headhunter, or something like that. Oh, and we do got the Tiny Great Hall, but it is spotted instantly. The Shade coming in clutch here. Rico sees this right away.
A player's forces are under attack.
And will we see some sort of timing push? Rico does have a little bit of time, to be honest. I think he should actually creep another camp, like maybe the shop. Get his orb, because he just reached tier 3 and he doesn't have it yet. And then get Ghoul Frenzy. But it looks like he's going to attack instantly. And I'm not sure if this is the right call. He may still be strong enough because he has had a lot better early game. But generally it's better to get another camp and wait for everything to come online here. That being said, there is a lot of ghouls, so it looks like he'll probably be fine to attack. Does not have a TP though, just relying on potions instead. And is going to at least get a couple peons. Will Blackprisme TP in here? Does he have a TP? No TP, so he's gonna just probably let it go. One Headhunter also getting targeted here. And will fall. So it ends up working out quite well for Rico here. That's a huge loss. You don't really want your Tiny Great Hall to fall after mining like, you know, only like 50 gold or something. Definitely a huge resource loss. But Blackprisme is finally getting some hero levels. Does have Book of the Dead, level 3 Farseer with level 2 Wolves. With all these summons, maybe he can muster up a summon army against these ghouls. But if there's destroyers on the field, it could be a problem. One ghoul going to fall over here, but most of them actually nicely saved, I think. Okay, maybe some other ghouls had fallen too, I'm not sure. A lot of corpses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8 corpses. That's a couple too many corpses. We do have the TC. So Try Hero is online. Shadowhunter does need to reach 3 still. And we're going to have Master Walkers, but no Walkers actually on the field. Maybe you would like to at least get 1 or 2 on the field before going into Master. And stuck at 41 food for now. Maybe that's also why he's going for the research, because he's stuck at 40 food. Okay, we do finally have Orb, Ghoul Frenzy online. Probably has Destroyer form, but no extra statues to actually morph unless he wants to get rid of his health or mana statue. And Rico might be going in for the kill here. Is he going to head straight to the base? Or is he going to head to the creep camp? Oh wait, the Shade was on him. The Shade spots him, and there's no TP. Blackprisme's gonna have to fight. We do have Book of the Dead used right away. That is good. Can we get a Stomp and the Wolves on the field? Stomp coming in. We got level 2 heal wave as well, which is going to be huge here. The Serpent Wards. TC is going to fall, but can we get some heal waves? 1 heal wave. Ooh, the Farseer falls. Just not enough damage here on Blackprisme. He lost a few too many units earlier. I think if he had a couple more units, honestly, he could take out this ghoul army, but just not the cleanest start. Lost the tiny Great Hall Expo right away. And Rico will take the 2-0 victory. Fairly clean game from Rico there. The Shade also spotting some crucial things like the tiny Great Hall, the creeping at the bottom right turtle camp that ended the game. And yeah, he will take the 2-0.